So I'm here with Stuart Hill, who is the Technical Director of Hutchinsons. Stuart, you're part of the Back to the Future project with Agri-TechE. So can we start off by asking you, what do you think has been the biggest game-changing technology in the last decade?
Yeah, so I think in terms of technology, it's probably been the precision farming technology and that evolution. So we probably started off with a bit of a stutter, but like all technologies, they evolve and they develop. And I think there is a reasonably widespread adoption of precision farming techniques now. And so the technology really is proving itself and adding value to farmers, particularly those that have got variable farms and variable soil types. So they're seeing the biggest differences, can make changes to their inputs and controls and be more efficient effectively. That drives more information, more data, and then they can analyse and interpret that as well, and then make even more changes and be even more precise. And this technology will continue to develop. So that's really where I would see the greatest adoption of technology in the last 10 years.
And what challenges did you have to overcome to get that adoption? And are there any more still to come, do you think?
Yes, I think it's an interesting question, probably from two parts. One would be you really have to demonstrate adding value, what you're adding value, before people will commit to these technologies, and they're new, and ultimately they are constantly in development. So you may start off at a place where you've got leader innovators, and that's the second part really, is that with any demographic, it doesn't matter what industry we're in, whether we're agronomists or growers, there are different parts of the demographics. Those are leader innovators who will take it before it's really created value, and those in the middle who will watch and see what happens with that, and then adopt it when there is some value. And then another group who are sort of a bit further behind, who will adopt it at some stage, and then after that, the ones that just won't adopt it at all necessarily. So one, you have to demonstrate the value, and two, you then go through this process of who's going to adopt it when and develop that to demonstrate that added value as well. I think even if we go back even further, probably 10 to 20 years ago, agronomy was fundamentally about field walking on a day-to-day basis and advising on crop protection. There might have been advice on a bit of nutrition and seed. Whereas this sort of last 10 years, that's evolved much more involvement in nutrition and seed, particularly with the precision farming, because we're now able to spatially and accurately map farms and soils and the different layers of nutrition and organic matter and soil classifications, etc. Of course, that allows much greater and accurate interpretation. So a good example of technology there is TerraMap, where we can spatially measure those, and there's about 28 different parameters. So we can then apply that accurately, that precision farming and those decisions to add value to growers. So we've become much more involved in the last 10 years with the whole picture of soils, nutrition, how we interpret that information, environmental aspects of the farm, and how environmental is part of the farm and not just a corner somewhere. That it's a whole holistic approach. Cultivation techniques, and then other aspects that just are holistically around rotation and cropping, etc. So we're getting involved in the whole picture now. It's not just one aspect anymore. And then I think in the next 10 years, what we see is we're gathering a lot of data at the moment, but the next stage is how AI particularly wraps this all together and can interpret with our knowledge and experience. So we're gathering a lot of information, and what we really see is the AI piece escalating quite rapidly in the next 5 years to 10 years. I don't think it's 10 years away. I think this is going to happen quicker than we've seen the development of physical technologies we've been looking at, like sensors. But it's that join up of AI, data, the sensors, better modelling, and the experience and knowledge of the agronomist will mean we're coming out with added value opportunities for growers on an individual basis. So I think that AI piece is going to escalate probably more rapidly than we think, and we can get our heads around, because people talk about quantum computing and this sort of thing, and we really can't get our heads around that at the speed these machines can analyze information that we have now, and we're not there yet. And when that does happen and evolves, it will give us great insights to farms individually, and how we help productivity and also resilience, particularly with the environmental challenges and whole aspect around carbon and mitigation against some of the weather issues we have now, which is an annual basis. We have climate issues of one form or another. So the AI piece is definitely something that's going to really capture the imagination, I think, in the next 5 to 10 years.
So you see the role of an agronomist being kind of AI enabled, but with maybe more digital skills? How do you see that? What would you say to agronomists coming through over the next decade?
Yes.
What do they need to know?
Well, I think if we, from our perspective, obviously we have the Omnia platform that's been developing for about 8 years now. Very much started as a precision farming platform, but it's now developed into a digital farming platform. Yeah. So all the technologies and sensors we've been looking at and developing, and we've been adding, ultimately they will channel through Omnia. So at the same time, you then realise, well, it's combining lots of data. There's lots of different elements going through Omnia. But what we probably haven't got yet necessarily is then the AI to analyse that. But that will evolve and that will come. And I think growers will get comfortable with the fact that we can discuss with them their own farm data and what insights that can bring them, what added value that can bring them. And it will evolve as we go along. And we see Omnia being absolutely fundamental to an agronomist. And of course, they're learning about Omnia as they go along and the evolution of that. So it's not just a sudden change. They will need more skills development in interpretation and understanding the information. Of course, the younger generations coming in now are born with technology. So they know how to handle technology in general. It is harder for the older generations. But those skills will just evolve as the AI and data and sensor management evolves as well.
So as the artificial intelligence develops, so will the human intel that's needed to work alongside it and with it and be informed by it.
Yes, exactly that. I think we do see a generational change happening with I think agriculture in general. I think with growers and with agronomists, and that change is, as I say, they are growing up with technology. So it'll be a natural process, but we will have to obviously train in those skills more than just sort of day-to-day tactical agronomy on inputs. So obviously we're covering everything now from all those inputs: seed, nutrition, genetics, and crop protection, soils, the environment. So there's a whole cultivation techniques, everything out there. It's a whole holistic picture now. So the AI and the data applies to everything that we're doing.
What a journey.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
For the next 10 years.
Yeah, it is fantastic. So,
Stuart from Hutchinsons, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.